guys. Welcome you all to the Insights into Money podcast. Let's start today's discussion, folks, on the topic, the great upskilling race, future-proofing your career in the digital economy.
Thanks for having me. I am really excited to dig into this today.
Yeah, me too. I mean, imagine walking into a tech firm, writing a few lines of code, and just, walking out with a $134,000 salary, and doing it without ever showing a college degree.
Right. It sounds completely made up.
It sounds like an absolute scam. But the crazy thing is, it's actually happening every single day. So the mission of our deep dive today is incredibly specific. We are going to explore exactly how you, the listener, can transition into a highly lucrative, location-independent tech career.
And doing it without spending a single dime on traditional college tuition.
Exactly. Zero student debt, maximum earning potential, and the freedom to work from literally anywhere.
It's a massive paradigm shift. And to really understand the scale of this, we kind of have to look at the broader historical context. For years, labor economists were looking toward 2025.
Right.
They were projecting that roughly 50% of the global workforce would require reskilling just to survive the digital transformation. Well, we have blown right past that milestone.
Wow, already.
Oh, yeah. The global job market has already undergone this massive, irreversible structural shift.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. A 4-year university curriculum simply cannot update fast enough to keep pace with how quickly technology evolves today.
Yeah, that makes total sense. By the time you graduate, everything you learned in freshman year is obsolete.
Exactly. Because of that, we have moved away from traditional academic degrees, acting as the sole gatekeepers to wealth. We've firmly landed in a dynamic, skill-centric model. The employers of today, they're no longer asking where you went to school 4 years ago.
Wow.
They just want to know what tangible problems you can solve for them right now.
Okay, let's unpack this, because that shift changes everything about how we view work and our own value. Think about your traditional corporate office job.
Right.
For decades, the culture was built around what I like to call seat time. You commute an hour, you sit at a desk under these terrible fluorescent lights, and your value is often measured by just how visible you are to middle management.
Oh, absolutely. The old 9-to-5 desk chair metric.
Yeah, you are essentially paid to occupy physical space. But then you look at the tech industry, and the culture is fundamentally different. So why is the tech sector uniquely positioned to bypass that old model entirely? Like, how can they offer these massive salaries to people just working from their living rooms?
Well, it all comes down to the nature of the deliverables. Tech roles are judged almost entirely on objective, tangible outcomes. I mean, the compiler does not care if you wrote the code in a high-rise office in Manhattan or, at your kitchen table in Lisbon.
It either works or it doesn't.
Precisely. Employers in this space are looking for clean code, functioning cloud deployments, insightful data dashboards. That inherent outcome-based nature makes tech perfectly suited for remote work.
And the financial incentives for you to jump in are just staggering.
Right. Unbelievable, really. Tech occupations are projected to grow at twice the rate of the general workforce over the next decade. And because geography is no longer a limiting factor, remote tech workers can easily command 6-figure salaries.
Regardless of where they actually live.
Exactly.
So if employers are paying top dollar purely for outcomes, the logical next question for you, the listener, is what is the most valuable, highest paying outcome you can possibly deliver in today's economy?
Yeah, and looking at the trends, the answer is undeniably artificial intelligence.
Absolutely. AI engineers and machine learning architects are in massive demand right now. I mean, we are seeing average salaries exceeding $134,000. And for senior roles, they easily cross the 200,000 mark.
Easily.
And here's where it gets really interesting. You do not need to go to an Ivy League school to learn this. You can actually acquire these skills completely for free.
Yeah. What's fascinating here is that the gatekeepers have essentially left the building. If you want to dive into AI, some of the biggest tech companies in the world have built free pathways for you.
Just giving it away.
Well, yeah. They do this because they desperately need a massive workforce capable of using their specific tools. Google, for instance, offers completely free learning paths. You can start with their AI essentials and then move right into the generative AI learning path.
And that covers the mechanics of large language models.
Exactly. Large language models, prompt engineering, all of that.
Okay, wait. I have to pause you there and push back a little bit. When you say prompt engineering, isn't that literally just typing questions into a chatbot?
A lot of people think that, yeah.
Right. So why would a company pay me a 6-figure salary to ask ChatGPT questions? I mean, my teenager does that for homework.
That is a great question, and it's where most people completely misunderstand the field. An AI model isn't actually thinking. It is an incredibly complex prediction engine, calculating the statistical probability of the next word. So prompt engineering at an enterprise level isn't about having a casual chat. It is about structuring logic. It's writing highly specific constraints. So the AI can, for example, parse a 50-page legal contract and output a perfectly formatted data file of liabilities.
Oh, wow.
Right. And doing it without hallucinating or just making things up. It requires rigorous analytical thinking. And to practice that, you have resources like the NVIDIA Deep Learning Institute.
NVIDIA, the graphics card company.
Exactly. They are the company powering the hardware revolution behind AI. They provide self-paced courses. And what's truly incredible is they give you access to their GPU-powered cloud environments for free during the training.
Just to be clear for everyone listening, a GPU is a graphics processing unit which handles multiple tasks simultaneously, unlike a standard processor. They are insanely expensive right
Yeah,
now.
totally. We're talking thousands of dollars each.
So NVIDIA is basically giving you the keys to a multi-million-dollar supercomputer just so you can practice driving it.
That's exactly right. You are practicing on the exact same high-performance computing infrastructure that top tech firms use, and you're not paying a cent.
That is wild. But moving past the AI models themselves, there's a fundamental reality here. You can't train an AI without something to train it on.
Right. If we connect this to the bigger picture, AI might be the shiny, powerful engine of the modern digital economy, but data is the fuel.
The fuel, yeah.
You absolutely cannot have machine learning, and you certainly cannot have generative AI without massive amounts of clean, organized, and accessible data.
And here's where I think a lot of our listeners might start to feel a bit intimidated.
How so?
Well, when people hear the word data, they immediately think of advanced calculus, complex statistics. They think you need a PhD in mathematics.
Oh, sure.
So how does someone without a math degree, maybe someone currently working in retail or marketing, break into a field that sounds so intensely quantitative?
That intimidation factor is incredibly common. And it usually comes from confusing a data scientist with a data engineer.
Okay, what's the difference?
So a data scientist is indeed the person applying statistical models and advanced math to extract insights. But a data engineer, they don't need to be math geniuses at all.
Really?
Not at all. Think of data engineers as the architects of a massive global shipping network. Their job isn't to open the shipping containers and analyze what's inside.
Right.
Their job is to make sure millions of containers get from the factory to the warehouse perfectly intact at lightning speed without getting lost. They're digital plumbers. They build the infrastructure that moves massive data sets securely.
And they get paid well for that plumbing.
Oh, absolutely. Because that infrastructure is so critical to the AI engine, data engineers earn a median salary of around $131,000.
Okay, I love that distinction. We aren't doing the complex math, we are just building the digital highways.
Exact.
But practically speaking, how do I learn to build a digital highway?
There are incredible free resources for this. Datatalks.club, for example, offers a completely free 9-week data engineering Zoom camp. And this isn't just reading dry theory.
Okay, so it's hands-on.
Very hands-on. You learn to build production-grade pipelines using enterprise tools. You learn Docker for containerization, Google BigQuery for data warehousing, and tools like Apache Spark to handle processing.
Okay, let's hit the brakes for a second. You just threw a lot of tech alphabet soup at me.
Sorry about that.
Docker, BigQuery, Spark. If I'm trying to transition careers, my eyes just glazed over. Can we break those down? Like, what on earth is Docker?
Fair point. Let's translate that. Imagine you bake a cake in your kitchen, and it turns out perfectly.
Okay, I'm with you.
But when you send the recipe to your friend across town, their oven runs hotter, their flour's a different brand, and the cake burns.
Right, too many variables.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In software, this is the classic, it works on my machine problem. Code that runs perfectly on your laptop might completely crash when you deploy it to a company server.
Ah, I see.
So Docker solves this by containerizing the code. It packages the code along with its own virtual oven and ingredients so it runs perfectly everywhere no matter what. It's exactly like standardized shipping containers revolutionizing global trade.
Oh, wow. That makes total sense. It's standardization. And if listeners want to start a bit simpler, with just, analyzing the data?
They can dive into platforms like FreeCodeCamp and DataQuest. They offer these massive free curriculum tracks
Mm-hmm.
to master foundational languages like SQL and Python.
Perfect. So we have the data flowing safely down these digital highways, moving into the AI engine.
Right.
But if a company builds this massive data infrastructure and layers AI on top of it, they have inadvertently created a giant target for bad actors.
Oh, massive target.
The highway is full of valuable cargo, which means you are inevitably going to attract highway robbers.
Precisely. And that vulnerability has created one of the most stable, recession-proof careers available in the world today. I'm talking about cybersecurity.
Thanks.
As long as there is data, there will be threat actors trying to exploit it. Right now, there are an estimated 3.5 million unfilled roles globally in cybersecurity. It is a critical talent shortage. Companies are just desperate to fill these seats.
But again, think about the psychological barrier here for the listener. When you say cybersecurity, I picture like a hacker in a dark hoodie typing furiously in green text in a basement.
Yeah, the classic movie trope.
Right. It sounds like something from Hollywood, and it feels completely inaccessible to an average person.
But we definitely need to ditch that Hollywood stereotype.
Right.
Modern cybersecurity is not about typing fast in a dark room. Think of it less like a bank vault, which is just a static wall, and more like a biological immune system.
An immune system, okay.
Yeah, a corporate network is a living organism. It is constantly taking in new data, encountering new viruses, and adapting. So a cybersecurity professional is really just like the doctor monitoring that immune system. You analyze patterns, you look for anomalies, and you deploy defenses.
Honestly, that feels much more approachable. So where does the training start for someone brand new to this?
You can access free foundational cyber training through organizations like the SANS Institute and the EC Council. They cover vital concepts like network defense and ethical hacking.
And what about Google? Don't they have something too?
Yes, exactly. Perhaps the absolute best starting point for a total beginner is the Google Cybersecurity Certificate Program. It is expertly designed to take someone with zero technical background and make them job ready.
That's incredible. What do they actually teach you?
You learn how to use Python, Linux, and SQL, specifically for security tasks. But crucially, you learn how to use SIME tools. That stands for Security Information and Event Management.
And a SIME tool is essentially just the medical chart, right? Or the dashboard that shows the overall health of the network.
Exactly. It aggregates all the security alerts into one readable dashboard so you can actually investigate them. It completely demystifies the entire process.
All right, let's zoom out again. We have the data flowing through the infrastructure, we have the AI analyzing it, and we have the cybersecurity immune system protecting it. Right. But where does all of this actually live? And how do everyday users actually click on it and interact with it?
That is the next logical step, yeah.
Right, which brings us to the foundational builders: cloud computing, DevOps, full stack development, and UX UI design. Let's start with cloud and DevOps. I think people hear the cloud and just think it's like magic floating in the sky.
Yeah, the cloud is definitely not magic. The simplest definition of the cloud is just someone else's computer.
Huh. Someone else's computer. I love that.
It's true. Instead of a company buying thousands of physical servers and keeping them in a noisy back room, they just rent server space. They rent it from massive data centers owned by Amazon, Microsoft, or Google.
Okay, so where do the engineers come in?
Cloud and DevOps engineers are the people who manage that rented space. They're essentially the air traffic controllers of the internet. They ensure that when millions of people log onto an app at the exact same time, the system automatically scales up and doesn't just crash.
And the free pathways to learn this air traffic control.
They are phenomenal. Amazon offers a program called AWS Restart. It's a free, cohort-based workforce development program, and it's specifically designed for individuals with absolutely no prior tech experience.
So you don't need to know coding before you start.
Not at all. It prepares you for a career in the cloud by teaching you Linux, networking, Python, and the core AWS services. And Microsoft Learn offers a similarly comprehensive, totally free pathway for their cloud platform, which is called Azure.
Okay, so that handles the servers, but what about the apps we actually see, like the actual buttons we click on our phones?
That would be full-stack software development and UX UI design. Full-stack developers are the architects and the builders. They write the actual code that makes the application function.
How do you learn that for free?
Well, you can actually audit Harvard University's famous CS50 course for free on 8X. It is a rigorous, world-class introduction to computer science.
Harvard for free?
Yes, and you pair that with free Code Camp, which provides thousands of hours of interactive curriculum. It takes you step by step from basic web pages all the way to complex back-end databases.
Wow. And UX UI, that's user experience and user interface, right? Is that just graphic design,
Yeah.
making the app look pretty?
Oh, it is so much deeper than making things pretty. UX UI is essentially human psychology applied to technology. It's really about reducing cognitive load.
What do you mean by cognitive load?
Like when you open an app, do you instantly know intuitively how to use it? Or are you confused? UX designers map out that entire user journey. And you can learn the industry standard tool for this, which is called Figma, entirely for free.
That's great.
Yeah, and you can supplement that with high-quality, free roadmaps and tutorials on YouTube. Dedicated channels like AJ and Smart, Flux Academy are amazing for this.
Yeah. So what does this all mean? We have just laid out an absolute treasure trove of free resources covering AI, data engineering, cybersecurity, cloud, and software development.
We definitely covered a lot of ground.
But having a list of links is very different from actually executing a career change. I mean, if I'm listening to this deep dive right now and I'm currently managing a retail store, or maybe I'm a teacher, how do I actually cross that chasm?
Right.
How do I convince a tech company to hire me over someone with a fancy computer science degree?
This raises an important question about how the tech industry actually hires people today. As we established right at the beginning, the industry is aggressively shifting towards skills-based hiring.
Meaning they don't care about the piece of paper.
Exactly. When a hiring manager looks at a candidate, they prioritize practical competence. They want to see a strong portfolio of projects over a traditional degree. But if you want to successfully transition, you have to treat this like a strategic mission.
How long does that mission usually take?
You really must expect to dedicate 6 to 12 months to highly structured, consistent learning. But learning isn't enough. It's about building a portfolio that proves you can do the work. Show, don't tell.
Right. It's the difference between telling an employer, hey, I read a book about carpentry, versus saying, here's a chair I built, please sit in it. You have to actually build the chair.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
Exactly. If you take the data engineering Zoom camp, don't just quietly finish the tutorials and move on. Build a real data pipeline that scrapes public weather data and stores it in the cloud.
Put it out there for people to see.
Yes. Put that code on a public platform like GitHub. If you study cybersecurity, set up a home lab on your computer and document a blog post on exactly how you secured a simulated network. You have to learn in public and generate tangible evidence of your skills.
And we really have to acknowledge the psychological barrier here, too. Imposter syndrome is going to hit you hard.
Oh, inevitably.
You are going to feel like you don't belong, especially when you encounter some weird error code that takes you 3 days to fix. But that struggle isn't a sign of failure. That struggle is literally the job of working in tech.
That is a brilliant point. The tech industry is essentially just professional problem solving. It's being comfortable with not knowing the answer right away. And as you embark on this 6 to 12-month journey, I want to leave you with one final thought to mull over regarding your unique value.
Okay, let's hear it.
As AI becomes increasingly sophisticated at writing basic code and, setting up standard infrastructure, the manual act of typing out code will become less of a differentiator.
Wait, so if AI is writing the code, aren't we just training people for jobs that won't exist in a few years?
Not at all. Because the most valuable skill in the future of the digital economy won't just be the coding itself. It will be the human context.
The human context.
Yes. It will be knowing what problems actually need solving in the real world. Think about your past non-tech experience. If you spent years in retail, you understand customer frustrations intimately.
Yeah, that's true.
If you worked in healthcare, you understand how to navigate complex patient systems. If you were a teacher, you know how to manage human behavior and communicate complex ideas. That domain knowledge is absolutely vital.
I see where you're going with this.
When you combine your unique human context with these newly acquired technical skills, you don't just become a programmer. You become a problem solver who actually understands the real world.
Yeah.
And that combination, that might just be your ultimate superpower in the upskilling race.
This was it on today's topic, guys. Kindly subscribe and follow us for more such insights on various discussion on money, and also do not forget to join our social media community to stay in touch and get updated.